I'm joined on the set by our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert. Doug, not a single Democrat came to McCarthy's rescue. Why?
Yeah, I mean, because you look at the 8 rebel Republicans, everyone was sort of expecting these Republicans. They do not have compromise in their vocabulary, so they were going to go to the wall with this. But the Democrats, it is remarkable that the entire Democratic caucus in the House of Representatives sat there quietly listening to the Republicans debate. None of them spoke. And when it came time to vote, they all, in lockstep, voted against McCarthy's continued speakership. Why? Bottom line, they couldn't stomach the guy, and they couldn't trust him more than they can throw him. He did a number of things to basically draw their ire over the 9 months that he was speaker. Well, even beforehand. He voted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. He is the man who decided to launch an impeachment inquiry against Joe Biden without a shred of evidence of wrongdoing by the current president. He is a man who was very, very chummy with Donald Trump. That also didn't help endear him to a lot of the Democrats, as you might imagine. He is a man who struck a spending deal with the White House and then reneged on it. So he wasn't good for his word at all. He is a man who time and again proved that what he said one day did not necessarily hold the next day. So he was a man that a lot of Democrats in the end said, you know what, we are willing to throw our voting lot in and side with the breakaway extremist far-right radical Republicans who are also voting against him rather than come to his rescue, perhaps hoping that a more amenable, more moderate Republican speaker will ultimately come to the helm to replace him. Let's not forget, this is a man, this position, second in line to the presidency.
Right. The problem is there really isn't any clear front runner for the job.
There is no front runner right now. In fact, right now you have 2 major issues. One is that you have a House that is essentially not just dysfunctional, paralyzed. The House of Representatives of the United States cannot do business. There's another government shutdown looming in the next 40 days in November. They can't do anything about that so long as there's no speaker. Ukraine aid. Nothing can move one way or the other on Ukraine aid so long as there's no speaker. Debt defaults. Nothing can move one way or the other if there's a looming debt default again, as long as there's no House speaker. The House cannot do business. But beyond even the House's dilemma of having to find someone to step into McCarthy's vacant position is you have the Republican Party, the so-called GOP, at war with itself. A Republican Party that a lot of the U.S. pundits looking on at this are saying is now ungovernable because they have this radical extreme faction, as they consider them, who are not willing to do compromise. Even McCarthy, and this is considered a sin, a transgression in today's Republican Party. What was his big sin? He actually struck a deal with Democrats to avert a government shutdown that would have put hundreds of thousands of workers out of work, not getting a paycheck. He actually worked with Democrats to avert the U.S. defaulting on its national debt for the first time in its history. That didn't happen. So McCarthy, as radical as he is, as conservative and to the right as he is, he actually understood that sometimes you have to compromise and struck deals with Democrats. That doesn't exist in the Republican Party in one of its more radical wings today. As long as that's the case, this could happen again with the next speaker and the next speaker after that and the next speaker after that. There is no mechanism right now to resolve this problem.
All right, Doug, thanks for that. France 24's Doug Herbert.